Welcome back to Everything But the Lesson Plan, the podcast where we talk about the parts of education they don't always prepare us for. I am your host, Franchesca Thompson, and today's episode is about something that doesn't show up in the lesson plans, but absolutely shows up in results. Celebrations. Because when schools get celebrations right, the climate shifts, the culture strengthens, and the teachers feel seen and not just supervised. And today I am joined by someone who understands this deeply. I'm going to actually call her the queen of celebrations, Dr. Natalie Brown Van. Welcome to the show, my dear.
I am glad to be here. I am glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I've got to go back and tell them our history. We met at the school I currently work at, and it was one of those things when I showed up. I think, were you there before me or we got there the same time?
Same time, same
Okay,
time.
same time. And we were going around, it was like going in circles. I was hearing about you, and I think you were hearing about me, and everybody was
Mhm.
like, y'all need to meet up because y'all really are kind of the same. And then we finally connected, and we connected on our schools. Like you had a charter school and I had a after school STEM
Mhm.
program, and I was like, I would love to have a school one day, but yeah, that ship has sailed. But then we connected there, and then we connected even more when I joined Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yes, sis. Yes.
So, that was another level, and we've just been close friends ever since.
Yes, yes, yes. I echo what you just said. Like mind, like spirits always gravitate towards each other.
Yep.
You're my hype person. I think I'm your hype person as well.
Yes,
And we get it. We get
we
it in the
get it.
schools where it takes culture, climate, and just being happy people. Because as we always say, we spend most of our waking days at the school or at
Yeah,
our workplace. So you gotta want to be there. And
that's
you need
right.
people who understand that to really be in an environment that helps shape and shift culture.
Yeah. And I'm going to say something about that because I think I started in corporate. So I didn't start in education. You started in law,
Yep.
right?
Yes,
And so
ma'am.
for me, my even though I've been in education longer than I have been in corporate, but my foundation was corporate. And in corporate, we celebrated our team. I had a team of about maybe it was like 60 of our like custodian workers, our engineers, and it was all guys at the time. And I was like the new chick they hired to
Mhm.
do the risk management and all of that. But I loved celebrations, and so I started them off with a training at Dave and Buster's, and these guys were like, what? We've never done anything like this. Who is this crazy lady got us out here learning and having fun?" But that's just how we are, you know. I
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
love celebrating people. And I think that's what our conversation is going to be about. Why is that so important, no matter what environment you're in? And industry you're in, we're seeing it now. I have been told, I don't know what corporate looks like now,
Mm.
but I have been told that there's some areas and even in schools where this is not happening. And
Mhm.
so we're going to talk about the impact of that. So for you, why does celebration matter so much when it comes to school climate and culture?
So for me, again, it's about the feeling and the emotions. And when you mention our background, mine is law. So a lot of people, they think very logistically, also strategically. But I like to take mine back to the innate ability. I like to say that I'm the queen of dopamine.
Okay. Okay.
So what that looks like for me is just motivating people. When people are happy and they're motivated, you can get them to do any and everything. I remember
Yeah.
one of my leaders told me, and she didn't know that I heard her, but when I walked by, she said, "You know what? She has influence." And
Yeah.
and I look at it as where people gravitate towards high energy, people who are always high, people who are always encouraging, lifting, especially in the school setting, because we know that's a very stressful environment.
Yeah.
So We have to make sure the science behind it. I love me some Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He has this book. It's called Leaders Eat Last. And in that book, he talks about the science of a culture, science of a leader, and where we need to make sure that we are touching the dopamine and also the oxytocin and just the science behind making people feel good and know that their well-being is important. So a
Yeah.
lot of my work is behind Sinek's his Leaders Eat Last, and then also, the why. The why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we do our why, mine is positivity. When we talk about our character traits, mine is positivity. That's my number one. And then even too in the spirit realm, I'm an exalter. I love exalting, lifting
Mhm.
people up, praising. So when you put all of that together, and you as a being and as a person, and you find your why, and you bring that into the workplace, it's just natural. It's natural to be a culture builder.
Celebration tells the staff that you matter here, even on the hard days. And I want to just put this out there. A lot of people look at the schools and like this is the principal's responsibility.
Mm.
And I get that, but who else plays a role in this?
Everybody. So I think back at even teachers. So developing other people who are just seeing other people who have that same mindset, that same disposition, the same hoopla, hoorah. You gravitate towards them, and then you'll realize that you have several of you in the same environment. So, and it's on every facet, every level: teachers, custodial staff, clerks, everybody. But you have to recognize that, and that's why me as a leader and as a person that I love to shift cultures. I like to look for people who have those same character traits and dispositions, and we get together and we just have a good old party, good old celebration on an ongoing basis. And we find ourselves doing that not just sporadically, but just all the time, looking for opportunities to enjoy each other and to celebrate each other.
Yes, and I would also say to add to that when we're talking about not only it's the teachers, it's everybody's responsibility, but also your community. And sometimes that looks like your PTSA, PTSO, whatever you want to call it. And I know I've
Yes.
seen at both the schools that I've worked at how the PTA or a PTS or whatever you want to call it has poured into the teachers to celebrate them. It's a big deal, and so it's very important to have those organizations together and make sure that everybody knows their role in celebration, because if you don't have it lined out like this, the work is hard. But whenever you have all everybody is on board and they know what they're going to do in advance, then that year rolls out smoothly, don't you think?
I totally agree with you, and and a lot of people don't realize, and that is your niche as well.
Hmm.
I remember when you just had this epiphany that you wanted to roll out the red carpet and have a whole Oscar award show, and it tied in the community, business,
Uh-huh.
sponsors, parents, students,
Yeah.
our culinary department, like everybody, and they were so excited to be able
Yes.
to come together and celebrate. So,
Yeah.
and it was a culmination of the whole year, and people,
Yeah.
and sometimes you forget the good days, and just being able to remind people of the good days, even when there's some tough days. That's just what it's all about. So I just think
Yeah.
that this is a really good podcast episode, and I hope that a lot of people will understand that it's in us. It's really in
Yes.
us that we bring about the joy and the happiness in the workplace or workspace, and it's not just up
Absolutely.
on the leader, but it's on you. When you wake up, who wants to be in a miserable place? Who
I
wants to be
know.
in 8 hours? No, not me. No,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yeah, culture and climate and celebration starts with you, right? And that's the understanding that we want you to take from listening to this. But let's also talk about some examples on what this looks like in the school, big and small, right? Small celebrations, big celebrations. You just mentioned the Academy Awards. That was one of their bigger celebrations that me and you partnered together to do. But what are some other things, big or small, that you can see schools incorporating? And then I also want to just put in this plug, especially for schools that don't have the finances, right? They don't
Yes.
have the income, that extra money to pour into the teachers like that. But what are some things that they can even do?
So it's on the small level, it could be in a word, a
Yeah.
tagline,
Hmm.
salutations, greetings, good morning, wonderful.
Yes.
You are amazing. How awesome. Highlighting a person's work, even
Yep.
to where some people think that they're in a thankless position, and just out of the clear blue, just giving them just a gratitude, just being just over excited about something that they might have thought it was minor in the presence of other people.
Hmm.
Circle of safety, that's another thing as well, where you put boundaries in place to keep people safe so
Yeah.
that they can understand or recognize or realize that you know that they're important, that they're valuable, and
Yeah.
and they matter, their feelings matter. So
Hmm.
protecting them, making sure that they feel supported. Another small thing, just showing up, being there.
Yeah.
I tell my team, whoever I'm leading, I don't lead a content or a position. I lead people who
Hmm.
teach a content or in a position. I
Hmm.
also, as a leader, I remind students that teachers are people too. So
Yeah.
again, making sure these are the small things, and these are things that teachers need. They need leaders that can show up for them, even when
Hmm.
sometimes they can't show up for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. You're
So,
right.
so yeah, so even too, where there are some times where teachers are, or whoever is under your leadership, where they're just barely making it,
Hmm.
and recognizing that as a leader, being able to see the person, being able to see that they're pressing and pushing, and being able to help them to hold
Yeah.
some of that for them. So those are
Hmm.
small things, because again, we're people first before we're in position. So those are the small wins. And then continuously just again appreciating them, not even just in an evaluation, but also in a salutation,
Hmm.
recognizing and understanding that the work that people do is valuable, and
Yeah.
appreciating them for that value. And those are just the small things. And of course, you could celebrate largely. I love at my new school, we do what we call First Fridays,
Hmm.
and they're theme based, where we roll out popcorns, the theater, we do bingo.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's everybody that shows up, and we just gather together just to break bread, to enjoy one another. And it's led by teachers, it's led by a committee as well as leaders too. So again, that's where that buy-in comes in, and where the teachers, they realize that you understand their gifts and their values, and you're leaning on them too as well to be able to help support that our community.
Yeah, I love it. I love the examples. I've seen some of everything when it comes to teachers being celebrated. I've seen schools pull up the food truck and tell the teachers lunches on them, well, as in the principal. I've seen just even this, I love this. Whenever your culture at your school is rock tight, right? It's solid, right? Teachers tend to hang out after school. Okay. They hang out after
Yeah.
school. They have a good time. They're like, hey, let's go and meet up at this restaurant here.
Yes.
And that's, to me, that's celebrating as well. So I love that when schools celebrate both the work and the person, morale changes within that school for
I
sure.
agree. I agree. And just a shameless plug too for the school where I am now, the Collins Hill cluster. We're the only cluster that still has an educational foundation. So when you talk about how you show up after work, like Friday, we were just
Yeah.
at the water tower playing bingo. And
Really?
yeah, from the elementary school all the way to the high school. And
Wow.
yeah, and it was families there. Of course, it was principals and teachers, clerks. At our table was our clerk, it was our principal, administrators, and one of our clerks won bingo, and it was so cute because all of us screamed like we won the $250 grand prize. But when you talk about again culture and people just genuinely enjoying each other, it makes work all the more pleasurable.
Yeah, and that's why I want to talk about. just giving some ways that teachers can celebrate each other. Because when I think about high need schools, low income schools, some of your, people from all over the world listens to this
Hmm.
podcast. Look, I'm
Hmm.
putting that plug in. Hey,
Yes,
yes, we
yes,
are
yes,
worldwide.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
don't get it twisted.
yes, yes.
So, when I think about all the people who are listening, I think about schools that struggle, right?
Hmm.
And when you're in a school where it's just sometimes the start is rough, okay?
Hmm.
And if that start is rough, it really is hard for the school to catch up, especially with the
Hmm.
leadership team there. You used to say something like we're operating, you're just trying to build it as we fly,
Flying the
right?
plane. Yep, flying the plane.
And
Right,
so
building.
with that, you got your leadership team who sometimes is stretched too thin. They can't do it, right? So,
Hmm.
what are some ways that teachers can do it? You just talked about an example of that.
Hmm.
What are some
Hmm.
other ways? I'm like thinking about hallways and floors and
So,
celebrate your floor and
yep.
everybody's together, you know?
So what I love about it, again, when you find like-minded people who, and this is again when you talk about understanding people's gifts, their strengths, and their abilities, so character traits, so positive affirmations, you can genuinely, you can see those who lean towards, like they feel really valued when you tell them that you appreciate them, that
Yeah.
their work is invaluable and you can't do it without them. So those are the ones that I kind of like pull the coattail and put them on my team, the leadership team in regards to celebration. So you have those teacher leaders who have those abilities and those skill sets that just know what it feels like to be appreciated, and then they share that love. So for
Yeah.
example, I have one person, she's on our intervention team, she's our leader for our intervention program, and she gets it. So she talks to us, myself and another administrator who's over that program, tells us, hey, can we get some ice cream for the teachers for this month? So she's intentional with making sure that the teachers are taken care of. And she leads by her lens in regards to how she wants to be treated. And so she makes sure that we treat everybody else like that. She
Yeah.
also, too, she goes in. It's funny because she used our tactics. She puts it in an email and she'll say, like, the first person who reads this and need a period off, or me to take your uh ours is called Eagle Time, to take that time, I'll do that and I'll watch your class while you take a walk. So those
Yeah.
are, yeah, those are just, those, you don't, that doesn't cost any type of money.
No.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
time. Someone who understands and who gets it in time, and who keeps and holds us as administrators responsible for making sure that we don't get so busy and caught up in the work that we forget about the people who are doing the work.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I just think it's a safe space whenever whenever teachers can support each other. It creates that safety net that leadership alone can't provide, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
starting that up. So what should leaders always remember when it comes to celebrating their staff?
Well, for one, you and I both came in under the JA Will Banks, and I remember he said there are those who teach and those who support those who teach.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just I want to make sure as a leader that my people feel supported, that they feel my hand like the wind beneath their wings.
Yeah,
That I am literally the wind beneath their wings. So as a leader, it's very important for us to understand that our why, we're not in the trenches, we're not in the classrooms on a day to day, but we
yeah,
have to make sure that we're breathing life back into the people who sometimes are depleted. And what
yeah,
that looks, it may look different on one day. It may look like me giving you a planning period so that you will be able to get some additional grading or something done. It may
yeah.
look like me putting a sub in your classroom when you feel like you're about to lose it, so you don't lose it,
Yeah.
meaning your livelihood.
That part.
Yeah, so I truly believe that as a leader, it's very important that we don't forget our why. Our why is to make sure that we're building a strong community. We're supporting our teachers and those who are truly doing the hard work, the hard work.
Yeah, yeah,
HEART, the hard work.
yeah. And just for the leaders to remember that celebration isn't extra, it's
Oh yeah.
essential. It's essential.
Yep, yep, yep. It's built.
So,
The culture is built on continuous
yeah,
celebration and encouragement and motivation.
yeah. And so with that being I think I got one more thing. What schools should never forget? Okay, so we just gotta kind of understand burnout is real, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And people don't leave jobs; they leave
Mm-hmm.
culture.
Yep. I
Um,
often say people don't leave buildings, they leave people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a celebrated staff becomes a loyal staff.
Yes.
They
Yes.
want to stay. The
Yep.
turnover is not high.
Mm-hmm.
A loyal staff builds strong schools,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yep. And
So,
again, again too, just leaving the work and leaving a space where culture is built to make sure that everybody feels seen and heard and celebrated.
mm-hmm.
um Making sure that we know that it's our fuel, it's our
Yeah,
celebration, it's the fuel to keep on going,
yeah,
something to look forward to.
yeah.
Even the large and the small, just knowing that I'm going to be appreciated. I'm going to come into a space that people appreciate my worth, who I am. They value me as a person, not just the things that I bring, and they make sure that I'm okay. So, schools, we should never forget, especially leaders, we should never forget that educators, teachers, workers, whoever, they're people.
Yeah.
They're people. And just like when I talked in the beginning in regards to the art and the science of it, when we talk about the endorphins and the dopamine and serotonin and all of that, that's the chemical balance. And it's how the saying goes, it's nice to be nice and kind to be kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. It's just happy people are easy and easy to get along with, and they're just invaluable. So
Yeah.
why not want to create happy people in a happy place?
Yeah. So here's what I didn't give you this question, but I know you're gonna be able to answer it. If you had your own school today,
Hmm.
would you put together a celebration team?
Oh
And
yes.
what would that look like? Who would be on this team
You
in
know
your
what?
school?
You know what? That's something, because I've been pondering this even in not just in my workspace but also in our church space. Walt Disney is something else. They call it what? The most happiest place in the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And I would emulate that. I had the opportunity to go. Our cheer team made nationals, and when you walk into the space and the place, they're just so excited to see you. They have just they're intentional in the space. So if I were to have a celebration team, I would want it to mirror something like Walt Disney World, the
Mm-hmm.
happiest place in the world, where I'm intentional, where I have a character. And you know what? You said something, you hit something right there too, because that was something I was thinking about too, and I didn't get a chance to say that culture is not just on a mission statement,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's also culture. It's people who are making sure that the mission statement is felt.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure that I have people who understand what it feels like to be happy, and what it means to make sure that other people feel the happiness in their environment, whatever
Yeah.
that looks like. It may look different for some.
Okay. Well, this has been great conversation. I enjoyed talking to you. I know we used to do some live conversations on this app. I can't remember the name of the app, but definitely gonna have you on the show again. Just thank you for your knowledge today, ma'am.
I appreciate it. And this is your podcast title is so everything, because it is the truth. Because when you start teaching, it is everything but the lesson plan. Even throughout, it's everything but
Yes,
the lesson plan. To be a successful educator, it's
yeah.
everything but the
But the
lesson
lesson
plan.
plan. It's the important pieces.
Yes. So thank you so much, soon to be Dr. Fran Thompson.
Yay!
Yes.
Beat that, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. This work is so valuable and invaluable, and I'm so grateful. And I'm glad to have work with you, and I look forward to working with you in the near future.
Yes, thank you. So,
Mhm.
if you want schools that thrive, we have to build cultures where people feel valued, right? And Dr. Brown Van, thank you for reminding us that celebration isn't fluff, it's leadership. And
Yes.
so, before we go, I want to say this to every educator listening: the work you do is heavy, the days are long, and too often the people who hold everything together are the ones who feel the most invisible.
Mhm.
Celebration, it doesn't have to be loud or expensive. We've heard that today, what it can look like and feel like. But it does have to be intentional. And that's a really important word right there, intentional.
Mhm.
Because sometimes a kind word, a small note,
Mhm.
a moment of recognition is the very thing that reminds someone why they chose this profession in the first place. So this week, check on your people,
Yes.
celebrate the teacher next door, thank the custodian,
Mhm.
encourage the new educator who's still finding their footing. And if no one has told you lately, you matter here too. Thank
Yes.
you, Dr. Brown Van, for this beautiful reminder that strong schools are built on seen, supported, and celebrated people.
Yes.
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
And to everyone listening, keep showing up, keep loving your students, keep lifting each other, and keep thriving beyond that lesson plan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.